Hello everyone. Welcome today on our session on stay relevant and stay competitive. Today we have guest Chetan. So Chetan is working as an RPA developer in one of the MNC. So let's welcome today and understand how Chetan shifted his career into robotic process automation technology. So let's welcome Chetan today. Hello Chetan.
Hello, sir. Hi, how are
Good to
you?
see you again.
Good to see you.
Yeah, Chetan. So this is actually community-driven, conversation. So just wanted to
Mhm.
understand. Tell us something about you. What is your background and something about you.
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Chetan Wag. I come from Nagpur, Maharashtra. I completed my education over there, my 10th, my 12th, and my graduation. And as most of us, even I completed my engineering in the year 2016 into electronics.
Okay.
Post that, I had different plans, but eventually I decided to take up a job. But I don't know if I took the right path or the wrong. I still don't know, but I took a job into sales, which was quite attractive at that point of time. So
Okay.
I worked into different domains and different sectors, different companies, and I tried to learn something about everything. But what happened is that in trying to learn everything about something or something about everything, I
Okay.
just lost. Basically, I just couldn't find a right track or as to what my target or what my goal is, right?
Right.
And that's why I I decided to get into a field where I can find peace, I can find work-life balance. So that is why I decided to shift into IT. And yeah, here I am eventually.
Yeah. So
So
as you said, like you have completed your engineering and you joined sales job. It's quite different profile, right? That's great.
yeah,
That's not
exactly.
a problem. Like it was a good experience. So my next question is, what was your inspiration to upskill in RPA?
There were many actually, but I would tell you some of them. So the first one was that I was having a pretty decent job. I was being paid well, but
Okay.
the thing was that, as I already said, there is no any work-life balance. Sales involves performance pressure. Sales involves targets. Most of the companies, not most of the companies, but there are companies which set unrealistic targets, which sometimes becomes difficult to achieve. And yeah, that was one of the reason which where I wanted to get into something which is feasible or which is achievable. So I thought of IT. Second thing was that, as every one of us, COVID struck me hard too. And since I was having a field job, so uh, I was looking for someone wherein there is flexibility. Like in
Right.
most of the IT companies, they allow work from home, right?
Right.
So maybe I thought that अगर कोविड ऐसे ही चलते रहेगा, so what I could do, मतलब rather
Right.
than ending up in a financial crisis or maybe a job insecurity ना हो, so that's why I decided to change my domain from non-technical to a technical field. And specifically about RPA, I would tell you two things about it. The first one is that when I was working in my previous organization, I used to do stuff which was pretty repetitive
Okay.
and monotonous.
Right.
One of my friends suggested me that there are ways to save your time, or you can do this thing quite easily with the help of some tools. So
Hmm.
he told me names of some tools, which includes UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism. But at that point of time, I didn't pay any heed to it. Later on, I started using Excel quite extensively. So there was one extension called YAMM or YAM, where it is popularly called. So I
Right.
used to send bulk emails because my job wanted me to do that.
Okay.
But later on, I just came to know about a tool called RPA.
Hmm.
So I just started researching upon it. I started looking for it, how exactly it goes. I asked my friends who are there into IT about it. Many of them knew, many of them not. But जितने भी लोगों को पता था about that tool, none
Hmm.
of them gave me a negative feedback, or they were always positive about it. So I started researching more about it, and later on, when I uh, uh, developed some interest into it, I started my research extensively.
Okay.
But the main and the sole reason was that there was one of my relative, which if I could have mentioned, but I would not. So he actually suggested me to get into RPA because he was into that field, and he told me about it, how it goes, and how it is.
Right, right, right.
But yeah, so he told me the advantages of it, and he also suggested me that before it gets too much saturated, like any other field, so you can like just get into it.
Okay.
So that was overall that were the reasons which I decided to get into RPA.
Mostly into the emerging technology. Good.
Exactly, like RPA is one of the emerging sectors,
Right,
so
right. So as you
it
said, like
is.
you learned and you got your job, one of the good MNC.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
congratulations for that. You got placed. So the next
Thank you
question
so
is,
much.
what are your experiences and challenges to get your first RPA job?
At least for me, the challenge was real because I was working. I had a pretty decent job, and no one like there are very few people who just quit their job randomly and then without having any backup option, they just quit their
Right.
job. So maybe I was one of them. Not
Mm-hmm.
maybe, but I was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided to focus my career into RPA. So I started to focus on the learning part more because my job was such that doing simultaneously doing studies as well as work wasn't possible for me at least. So what I decided is that I should quit my first job completely and then completely shift my interest toward like completely shift my focus towards study. So I started researching about UiPath. I started researching about the other tools. I also approached people on LinkedIn as to what I should do or what I should not, and how I should approach in order to get into this field of RP or to master this tool. So there were many people who guided me as to what I should do, and their suggestions really helped me a lot. So
Okay.
that was one thing.
Mhm.
Challenges as such were there because since I had no IT experience, I was having zero IT experience. My complete experience was into sales and edtech sales, co-living sales, and SaaS-based products. So at that point of time, I started this in the year 2021, right? And I passed in the year 2016. So there was a 5 year gap. So most of the students which come to institutes, they come with such kind of gap. So this is for
Right.
them, like those who are worried about career gaps or these things. So I just had to sacrifice on the salary part because if I had to get into RP, I there was only one option that I had to get in as a fresher बिकॉज आप कितना भी व्हाट आई थिंक इज आप कितना भी पढ़ाई कर लो बट एक्सपीरियंस इज समथिंग जो आपको काम करने से ही आएगा राइट
Right.
एंड व्हेन यू वर्क ऑन प्रोजेक्ट्स एंड दैट काइंड ऑफ स्टफ
And even
सो
you cannot make it fake. Most of the people come and ask me, "Can you give me the experience certificate?" I said, like, "How can I give you? Like, if you didn't have worked on
एग्जैक्टली
RPA or maybe technology, that fake experience or something would not going to help you." Even people are coming and they're asking, like, if I can manage some, fake experience. I said, no, don't do this because you should be genuine. Because once you are
करेक्ट
appearing in interviewer ask you and understand like, how sort of knowledge you are having. So you cannot make it fake.
करेक्ट
So you did the right decision.
एग्जैक्टली
You did the right decision, and you went well.
yeah, like that is one of the biggest scams going on currently. So there are a lot of people who are using fake experiences. I don't know whether I should mention it or not, but
No, it's
yeah,
okay.
there
Just
are a lot
let
of
them
them.
do.
But I yeah, what I chose is that I had like when I came to know about this, I had made up my mind that कुछ भी हो जाए भले ही मैं 10,000 रुपये महीना से काम कर लूंगा बट फेक एक्सपीरियंस एंड ऑल आई एम नॉट गोना डू इट बिकॉज मुझसे ना हो पाएगा वो
No,
इट
that
वाज
is
एज
good
सिंपल
thing.
एज दैट
Like
सो
end of the
व्हाट
day,
आई
that will not create you the value, and maybe sometime you would be, maybe in the trouble.
yeah yeah like मतलब most of the times you would end up in trouble and that was something which was not my cup of tea so I decided that I am not going to do it भले ही I would start from zero
Right.
but scratch से start करूंगा fresh start करूंगा I'll gradually learn
But
time
the
लग
thing,
जाएगा बस यही होगा
yeah,
जो
yeah. But the thing is, the people actually they are getting the job in RPA space. They are getting very good package, right? So you cannot
exactly
say like getting 10,000 a package or something. but still they are getting very good
Exactly.
package as per my understanding, and the people got placed from our academy, they are getting very good package as a fresher.
Yeah, exactly. Like payment is not like the salary is not an issue. If you have the required skills, companies do not care about growth. So that is something you should not worry about. But yeah,
Exactly.
there is a prescribed limit for freshers. So
Right.
maybe you should be ready to sacrifice that. And once you are ready to do that, then things become easy for you if you have the required skills. That is what
E-
I think. So
exactly.
what I tried for is that I was so for example, I'll tell you my story. So when I was working in some company, like working in earlier organizations, for
Mm-hmm.
example, if I used to earn X amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
so if I had to start my career into RPA as a fresher, I would be getting X divided by 5 the money which I am getting currently.
Right.
But I was quite happy with that because
Mm-hmm.
of two things. The first one is that I'm getting to learn something very interesting and very useful, which would be uh,
Future.
quite helpful in later point of time.
Right.
मतलब बाद में exponentially जो grow होगा आपका salary, you cannot imagine that, right?
Exactly.
And second thing was that now what I was saying, yeah, salary was not an issue because I knew that अगर मैं scratch से start करूँ, there's fear of insecurity रहेगा, so I just ready to. So maybe मेरा ऐसा नहीं था. So my suggestion is that uh, you should follow this kind of path. But yeah, at the end it's not necessary for everyone because सबका philosophy अलग होता है, सबका thinking अलग होता है.
Exactly.
So
Right.
that was one of the challenge which
Mm.
I faced. And job searches में भी काफी challenges आए sir, to be honest,
Mhm.
because
I know, like we were into the conversation. We used to like lot of interviews you faced, and ultimately you got placed. So that's thing. Like it was the challenge. Like when you are appearing in interviews and going for the job. So sometimes it was challenging, but end of the day
yeah,
it was fine. Like you got the job.
yeah, the problem with me was that since I was not I was not recently graduated. I had graduated 5 6 years ago,
Hmm.
and the thing was that I was shifting from one domain to another. Plus, many of the hiring managers, so they think that the candidate won't be candidate won't be willing to sacrifice his current CTC or current pay package. But I was not one of them. So maybe that was the reason people even did not used to look at the resume. So first thing was that finding a job is not tough actually. It's quite
Hmm.
easy. It's just that you just need to hit the right targets and the right in the right quantity. And
Right.
that is what I think job search is easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So challenges were there.
Right. 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 So, Chetan, my next question to you is like, what are your suggestions to the freshers, maybe the beginners? They are looking seeking the job into the an RPA space.
Um, yeah, I don't know if I can give some suggestions, but I can surely share my experience because
Right.
there
You
are
can share
many
your
people in
experience.
the industry who are like quite well experienced. So I'll share my experience. Um, my suggestion would be that first thing is focus on the process, like focus on learning the tool, uh, focus on studying what exactly the tool is, how exactly it is done. मतलब वो कहते हैं ना सर, घोल के पी जाओ युवा बात को या टूल को, जो भी टूल आप पढ़ रहे हो. So I just would suggest कि focus on learning. Eventually you will if you have the required skills, there are a lot of opportunities. And they मतलब ऐसा है सर कि काफी सारे projects है, but they don't have the right kind of people to work upon, right? So if you have the right skills, uh, probably not probably definitely you will get hired in one of the good companies.
Right.
So first thing would be that focus on learning. Second, which I would suggest is that which I made a mistake was that since day one I started looking for a job, because what happened with me was I was unemployed for a span of like 4 5 months till that time. So ऐसा हो गया था कि अब कब जॉब मिलेगा, because all of my friends were working, and that kind of frustration or not depression but frustration होता ही है when you are employed for a certain period of time and suddenly अगर break हो जाता है and everything doesn't fall into place. So maybe I was desperate to get into job, but what I did wrong and what I would suggest the candidates who are coming into RPA, that since day one don't start your job and don't be too late to start your job. तो कुछ ऐसे होते हैं कि नहीं मैं तो पूरा पूरा टूल पढ़ लूंगा एंड देन ओनली आई टेक अप अ जॉब, बट आप पूरा टूल कभी नहीं पढ़ पाओगे। जो 5 साल 6 साल से काम कर रहे हैं, आई गेस इवन दे डोंट नो एवरीथिंग अबाउट द टूल, बिकॉज every person works in certain domains or certain activities or that kind of areas, right? So
Basically, the
start your,
technology is continuous learning. So once you are in the
yeah,
project, you
it's
would learn many things. Every day, the tools are changing, the technology, the process are changing. So when you are making your hand dirty on the project side, then you would learn the many.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly, exactly. So the thing is that like start your job search after a certain period of time. Like when you are confident enough to like play with the tool or do some mini projects, or like you know something about the tool, or maybe you are just aware about all the basics of the tool, then probably you can start your job search.
right,
And simultaneously you can do both things, like you can study as well, you can upskill as well as you can start your job search. And the third and the most important thing is the network. So I would suggest all of you to create a great network. LinkedIn is a very useful platform. I know you will face rejections if you send connection request to 10 people, for example. Maybe only 5 or 6 of them would accept. Even after accepting, like even after accepting, out of those 5 6, only 2 or 3 would reply to your messages or to your CVs. So don't get disheartened. There are a lot of number of people on LinkedIn, but once you create a network, then it becomes easy for you in later point of time. Like once
right,
you get into the industry, or even I would say that getting into a job is also like creating a network is also useful for getting into a job, right?
right.
So network banao jitna ho sakta hai. So that is what my suggestion would be.
Yes, yes.
And yeah, that's it.
Good, good, good
I
to hear your
think.
point. So my last question is the like how we at Emergent Tech helped you in your RPA journey.
Yeah, um, there are actually many reasons. I would share you a short story for the viewers to understand, because so I approached Emergent Tech in the year September 2020, or you can say yeah, September 2020. I looked for Emergent Tech. I started looking for RPA and all those kind of stuff. Um, but I was hesitant initially to join. मतलब मैं ज्वाइन करूँ या ना करूँ, बिकॉज आई हैड अ लॉट ऑफ डाउट्स इन माइंड कि क्या करेंगे ये लोग, कहाँ से जॉब देंगे जब जॉब्स ही नहीं है, कोविड चल रहा है, कहाँ से जॉब देंगे। सो एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम आई क्विट। 6 years, 6 months down the line, 8 months down the line, I was into the process of looking for a job. Not looking for a job, I was working already. But then, with no other option left, I tried everything on my own. Then I again came back to Emergent Tech, and I again called you, sir, and asked for the query. So you were like कि आप तो बहुत पहले join करने वाले थे, but I was quite late. So yes, I might regret at some point of time that काश मैंने अगर पहले ज्वाइन कर लिया होता तो शायद आज ज्यादा
And
एक्सपीरियंस
it was
होता।
like that in COVID. There are many people got placed because at that time everybody is working on work from home, and the culture
Yeah.
was started. And mostly RPA job was something like automation, so people are working from home only. So at least you could have
Mm-hmm.
joined and you can got your job earlier. That was
Correct,
our
correct.
conversation.
Correct, correct. Yeah, that was the conversation I remember. Plus, like even if you like there is a lot of content on YouTube and there are many other classes as well. But the thing here was that I the mini projects or the projects which we were given, that were very useful in building my confidence, especially because since last 6 to 8 months I was searching for RPI, was researching into it, but I didn't have that kind of confidence which I had after clearing completing all my classes. There is only one reason to it, that the projects which were quite useful. So there were uh, many projects which were explained by the faculties, and that helped me to build confidence. And yeah, these projects were also helpful for me to put in my resume. Because before joining Emergent Tech, I was quite worried कि projects क्या डालूं मैंने तो कुछ किया ही नहीं है. I just know the tools कि हाँ ये activity से ये होता है, ये activity से वो होता है, but I didn't have that kind of use case knowledge. So yeah, Emergent Tech helped me in that way, and also placement assistance. So I was looking out for a job since I was into sales, I was into marketing. I sort of somehow knew that how to uh, talk to people or how to ask for a job. So that kind of like how to build a conversation, I probably knew. So that thing I would do, but yeah, I didn't knew where to target upon. मतलब कौन सी कंपनी में ओपनिंग्स है, कहाँ ओपनिंग्स होता है, ये तो मुझे नहीं पता था. सो रैंडमली मैं 1000 कंपनी में अप्लाई कर रहा हूँ, बट आउटपुट कुछ नहीं आ रहा है. सो
Right.
टारगेटेड रिसर्च नहीं हो रहा था, बट इमर्जेंट टेक हेल्प मी टू probably focus like hit the right target, I would
Yeah.
say. So like जैसा सर अपना placement assistance होता है wherein you
नहीं, आई वॉज हैप्पी जब आपका प्लेसमेंट हुआ. यू सेड लाइक आई गॉट प्लेस. आई वॉज हैप्पी बिकॉज आपका जो जॉब सर्च करने का मतलब यू आर वेरी इन वेरी ट्रबल एंड यू हैव फेस लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम. यूज्ड टू कॉल मी अर्ली अगेन एंड अगेन. यू सेड लाइक एनी ओपनिंग एंड सॉर्ट ऑफ. तो मैं आपका जब आपको जॉब लगी तो आई वॉज वेरी हैप्पी कि एटलीस्ट आपकी जॉब तो लगी.
exactly.
या
Problem ये था सर कि before joining Emergent Tech, I had joined a couple of institutes as well there.
ओके ओके
बट प्रॉब्लम वहाँ पे ये था ना सर, या आई वुड बी ऑनेस्ट. सो प्रॉब्लम ये था कि पहले इंस्टीट्यूट में आई डेंट गेट द राइट व्हाट यू कॉल राइट फैकल्टी नहीं मिला. बिकॉज पता नहीं मुझे ऐसा बोलना चाहिए, बट आई सम मतलब मुझे उनसे नहीं समझ आ रहा था. एंड आई वाज समवट मतलब आई ट्राइड फॉर अ फ्यू डेज, बट वो नहीं वर्कआउट हो रहा था. सो आई जस्ट क्विट दैट. सेकेंड इंस्टीट्यूट विच आई ज्वाइन, सो there the thing was that he would tell you the basics of every activities, right? Not he, they would tell you the basics of every activities. They just give you an overview of the tool, and eventually they'd force you to basically take up their what we call that biggest scam which is going on, right? Like fake experience, fake interviews, ये सब लगा के आपको like place करा देंगे. But that was something which I came to know later about it. So I was like कि fake experience तो वैसे भी मैं उसके खिलाफ था. So I just quit that. So
राइट.
इमर्जेंट टेक जैसे ही मैंने सेकेंड टाइम अप्रोच किया सर आपको, आई जस्ट आस्क कि सर अगर आप प्लेसमेंट असिस्टेंस प्रोवाइड करते हैं तो मैं ज्वाइन करता हूँ. सो अंशुमन सर वाज लाइक मेरे पास आज 3 कंपनीज की ऑफर्स है, आप बताओ, आप अगर रेडी हो तो मैं अभी शेड्यूल करा देता हूँ. सो इवन आई
Yes,
वाज
at that time
इंटिमिडेटेड बाय दैट.
I was having the calls, so I said like in the same way.
यस. हाँ, बट आई वाज लाइक कि नहीं यार इतना भी नॉलेज नहीं है मुझे. सो आई जस्ट थॉट कि ठीक है एक बार क्लास करके देखते हैं. अब दो दो में तो डूब ही गया. सो आई वाज क्वाइट हेजिटेंट. सो आई जस्ट आस्क यू नंबर ऑफ टाइम्स कि अगर होगा प्लेसमेंट असिस्टेंस कोई मैं आऊंगा. बट या
See, but the
आई
thing is,
एम.
Chetan, you were very proactively, I would say, because the training में जो भी आपको assignments देते थे, जो भी आपको use case देते थे, तो you were active. It's like कि आपको भी अपना
हाँ
interest
सर.
create करना है. It's not like you are joining any institute, any academy. But if you are not serious,
एग्जैक्टली.
so that would not going to help you. But you were serious, like you had that zeal to get the job. तो आपका job कितने कम time में you got place, right? So
या
it was all a
लाइक
win-win situation for both, and you did your best and you got your job.
Yeah, exactly. It was very simple, and those मतलब मैं उनको भी वही बताऊंगा who are joining Emergent Tech. It is very simple. जो भी आपको असाइनमेंट्स दिए जाते हैं रिलीजियसली आप फॉलो करो, रिलीजियसली वो असाइनमेंट्स कंप्लीट करो. इवन इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू कंप्लीट इट, बट गिव योर बेस्ट शॉट. उससे क्या होगा ना कि गलत कैसे होता है वो आपको पता चल जाएगा. प्रोसेस एग्जीक्यूट कैसे होता है वो नहीं पता चलेगा, वो तो ठीक है, बट कैसे नहीं हो सकता है वो आपको पता चल जाएगा. सो once you give your 100%, then probably you would come to know कि हाँ ठीक है ऐसे करना होता है या ऐसे नहीं करना होता है. So
Right.
it's just very simple. Follow the assignments thoroughly, religiously. वो आप करिए. And जो भी प्रोजेक्ट्स दिए जाते हैं उस पे काम करिए. जो भी फैकल्टीज देते हैं that are very good. And I guess to get an entry level job, that is more than sufficient. That is more than sufficient because there are many people who are there with 1 or 2 years of experience. But I think मतलब skills है या नहीं है, I may not be the right person to comment on it. But yeah, the teachings which are provided at Emergent Tech, that is more than sufficient to get an entry level job. So be rest assured about it.
Thank you,
And
Chetan, for your
yeah,
valuable and
Emergent Tech.
genuine.
helps me a lot.
genuine feedback.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
So thank you very much for joining this session.